to my channel, to the channel. I'm trying to say Capri Social Network. As always, I am your host, Capri, aka Cap. And in today's video, by the way, it is currently 2:17 p.m. Central Standard Time in my location of Birmingham, Alabama. Anyways, this here is a video that I have been having in mind doing prior to doing it today, but I never could quite get around to it. And it's on behalf of how being a ladies man slash womanizer for all my fellas who still like to go from being with one woman after one woman over and over, due to how so many of us guys feel like we get props. You could say, you could also say, pat on the back, so to speak, for being ladies men, for having, in other words, so many women that we're dealing with all at once, if you get where I'm coming from. To be honest, being a ladies man, gentlemen, is not the same as it used to be prior to the social media days, prior to the cell phone, aka smartphone era that we're in now. Because for one, anytime you may deal with a whole lot of women, fellas, it could backfire on you, from being accused of rape, facing the possibility of being accused of rape, to facing the possibility of dealing with a woman who's already in a relationship, to even dealing with a woman who may be in more than one relationship with one other man, just when you may think that she's only interested in you or involved in you. On top of that, dealing with a woman who has a kid, or in most cases, multiple kids, because when how it is in today's dating world, on behalf of a lot of my guys who don't have kids of their very own, but yet and still would like to be able to find a woman who they could be able to have kids with. Let me turn off the car. 9 times out of 10, fellas, you'll be lucky to even be able to find even a woman with one kid. For all my fellas who may want a woman with just one kid, due to how so many modern day women, especially in the 20-something year old age bracket and on up older, so many women within those age brackets are having kids, and in most cases not just kids, but kids by more than one guy. On top of that, another reason it doesn't profit anymore to be a ladies man slash womanizer is due to the simple fact of how more women are being infected with STDs. Because I know, judging from my research, the STD rate in places such as Atlanta and Houston are higher than ever, especially the HIV rate. And unlike the days before we had cell phones, when more of us had landlines, for some of you who may not know about landlines, for some of you who may not, that's basically a house phone, which was popular back during the 90s. I would say during the first half of the 2000s, first decade, the 2000 to through 2010 decade. Prior, anytime before the 2000 2010 era, for some of you people who may be under 39 years of age, especially the ones who are 30 or younger, who definitely may not know nothing about a landline, that was our primary means of communication with one another back during the days when we also had pagers. Anyways, unlike those days when you could be able to talk when a female, get to know her, we call it, some of us may call it courting. It's like we'll say down south, courting, instead of the actual or whole word. You were, prior to meeting a woman, approaching a woman in person to get to know her more, what will happen? You will use to talk to her on the phone and vice versa for hours until the two of you were to eventually meet up with each other in person, and then y'all were to get to eventually take each other out. Before you knew it, the two of you were becoming intimate with one another and would eventually, thanks for joining, for all you I see joining the live. But once you were to eventually get the chance to start dating more and more to the point where the two of you would have become serious and eventually intimate, before you knew it, the two of you would eventually have a kid, or in most cases kids, and then marry. Now, unlike nowadays, as soon as you may meet a woman nowadays, unlike the days before the social media and cell phone era that we're dealing with in today's modern society, most women would clown you if you are the type of guy who may believe in approaching them the old-fashioned way, as in approaching them, walking up to them, asking for their name and saying how you may have caught their attention, for instance, just to be able to get to know them that much more better. Needless to say, so many women feel so entitled to the point where the only way that they look at becoming serious with a man, or not even becoming serious per se, but eventually getting to know a man and getting to know a man to the point where the two of you were to eventually start dating each other, becoming intimate with each other, is by meeting them through social media and dating apps. And there's a downfall to that for some of you who may be so used to meeting people of the opposite sex through dating apps or social media apps. How many times have you saw in the news, gentlemen, on behalf of when a guy may meet a woman or vice versa, and they may happen to link up and things to turn out for the worse? Either one person may threaten to murder the other. In some cases, one of them may have eventually gotten set up and murdered for meeting the other person after exchanging DMs off of some dating app. And this is why sometimes I wish we could go back to the days whereas more of us would be more social with one another, whereas us guys would be able to build up the nerve to approach women like we did back in the days, whereas we would see a woman who may catch our attention, go up to her, start rapping with her, and eventually she would give us our number, not like they do now, unlike how so many men and women prefer to meet through social media. I'm talking about the days where you would go up to a female, get to know her, start rapping with her, and she would eventually write down her number on a piece of paper, back to those days, and vice versa. You would write your number down and give to her on a piece of paper. And then you couldn't wait till you was to get back home, back when we had landlines, more people had landlines. In other words, house phones. You were so anxious to get back home to call her, and vice versa in some cases. And how soon as you were to call her, how excited she would get, how excited she would sound over the phone, and vice versa, how excited you would be, how you would have a big smile over your face. And let's not forget, there are more and more guys being put on blast, being clowned for being womanizers nowadays due to how we have not only text messaging, but screenshots. Because fellas, how many times have you met a woman and after exchanging DMs with her, and then you found out, because don't let that woman be a content creator or a social media influencer. You found out after looking at a YouTube video or TikTok video, I could go on, and you found out some of those same text messages you may have been sending to her, DM, she happened to put on social media, post on social media, and make a whole video clowning you about it, about some of your text messages, how lame some of your text messages may have been. May have went as far as even showing your face after meeting her off of some dating app or some social media app, trying to go out of her way to embarrass you. These are some of the main reasons why, fellas, it does not profit a man to be a womanizer / ladies man anymore. because these women also are users. Because there's one particular YouTube video on behalf of a guy by the name of Average Man Unplugged. Some of you may have heard about him or of him, whereas he made a recent video about a woman who had just met a man. I mean, literally just met a man, had the audacity to ask this man could he help pay her light bill. And these women are getting more and more bold to the point where, and expect fellas, more and more guys, more and more your homeboys, for a lot of you who may have a lot of homeboys, expect them to refrain from approaching women on social media apps, to refrain from dating women, modern day women altogether, because these women, for the most part, don't want a long-term relationship. On top of that, these women don't want marriage. Most women, most modern day black women, due to how they look at marriage as something to be frowned upon. I'm trying to say upon, especially when it comes to marrying someone, or getting to know someone first, to the point where, yeah, the woman was to become intimate. Well, first get to start dating the man that she was to get to start knowing first, after meeting, whether it may be either in person or off a social media app. The two of them eventually becoming intimate, having a kid, and tying a knot. Those days are for the most part gone. Instead, most women want fast gratification, whereas so many of them look at having multiple kids as a badge of honor, so to speak. Multiple kids, not just multiple kids outside of wedlock, but multiple kids by multiple men. These women also look at this, flaunting their bodies on social media as a badge of honor as well to so many strange men. And yet and still in the same breath, they're always wondering, so many modern day women, why do men only want one thing from them? And that is, why do they only want sex? Most modern day men from most modern day women. Well, ladies, you're giving yourself away, whether you know it or not, day after day, with the more inappropriate pictures you post of yourself on social media. And this is one reason why so many black women are single right now and will forever remain single, especially on behalf of the ones who are single mothers, the main ones who wonder, why is it that they can't find them a husband? Why is it that every guy they may meet and get pregnant by always walks off on them, always hauls ass on them, and excuse my French. Anyways, let me know what you think by commenting down below in the comment section. Make sure you also like, share, comment, last not least, subscribe. And until next time, I'm out.